What is going on, guys? Farzin Vasugian here with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Hope you're all doing well. Obviously, as you see with the headline right there, we have some breaking news. We kind of went over this yesterday, but it is now official, and we are now aware Kareem Hunt had his workout with the Kansas City Chiefs. He went through his physical, successfully passed all of that, and he is now a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, signed specifically to their practice squad. So Kareem Hunt, now a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Boy, did not see that one coming. You told me this would have happened at any point this year, specifically even 2 weeks ago, right before the Ravens game, I would have said not a chance in hell. It is a cold day in hell, my friends. All right, I see you guys coming in here. I want to let you know this podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. The Chiefs are going to be away from Arrowhead for a couple of weeks now, but the next time they have a home game, it'll be Monday Night Football against the Saints. The Kansas City Royals, they've got their season coming down to a close very soon, but they might be able to extend their season going into the playoffs here. And by the way, there is a possibility the Royals and the Chiefs could be playing on the same day, Monday Night Football at Arrowhead, and perhaps Monday afternoon for a divisional round playoff series. That'd be kind of a nice 2-for-1 type of day over at the Truman Sports Complex. If you guys want to get your tickets, go to SeatGeek.com. That's where I go to get my tickets. For those of you who are new SeatGeek customers, you can go to SeatGeek.com, enter my promo code Farzine, and you will save $20 off your first purchase from SeatGeek. Again, new customers, pick up your tickets, get your promo code, put in Farzine right there, and you will save $20 off your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. It is a cold day, my friends. It is a cold day in hell because Kareem Hunt has returned to Kansas City. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody. 48 hours ago, this idea that Kareem Hunt would come back to Kansas City, I mean, that was a massive stretch. Listen, the idea of Kareem Hunt coming back to Kansas City has been tossed out there by Chiefs fans every once in a while, and I was one of those people. I said, it's not going to happen again. He's never going to come back. And the reason I felt like he would never come back, and I think I went over this a little bit yesterday, is that when the Chiefs cut him, obviously the Hunt family was pretty embarrassed by this because Kareem Hunt gave his version of the story as to what happened, and obviously it did not match what he told the Hunt family and the rest of the organization. So they were pretty pissed because they stood right behind him when Kareem Hunt made the claims that he made. And then when that happened, the Chiefs actually deleted every picture of Kareem Hunt on their social media. I think you might be able to find a couple on Twitter, not very many. On Instagram, they wiped out every picture possible of Kareem Hunt. I don't know about Facebook, but boy, Glenda says I'm speechless. Listen, I've done podcasting for 17 years now. This is one of those things where I'm just struggling to find the words for this, to even just react to this, because this is one of those moments where you just did not feel like it would ever happen. You know what I compare this to? There are two incidents I would compare this to. I know a lot of you guys probably are not WWE fans, so I'll just quickly fill you in. There was a wrestler, one of the best wrestlers of all time, named Bret Hart. He was scheduled to leave the WWE because his contract was up, but he was the WWE champion at the time. But in a weird situation, he was refusing to let go of his belt. And you guys all know WWE. It's scripted. It's entertainment. All of the results are agreed upon by all of the participants beforehand. But Bret Hart was unwilling to lose his belt. So in a weird situation, the referee, the owner, and the Bret Hart's opponent, they were all in to just ring the bell at some random point in the match and take the belt away from him. That was a big controversial moment. Well, guess what? After, a lot of bad blood over the years, Bret Hart ended up returning to the WWE. In fact, I think he came back last week as like a guest. CM Punk, also known as Phil Brooks, he had a very serious incident with the WWE where he was unhappy with how he was being used, how he was forced to wrestle through injury. He even went to court with WWE because he, opened up and basically threw them all under the bus, and he beat Vinnie Mac in court. No one ever beats Vince McMahon, and he beat Vinnie Mac in court. Now, many years later, and I know it's Vince McMahon's son-in-law who takes over now, but CM Punk's now back in the WWE when nobody expected that. He returned last year. I'm getting like Bret Hart and CM Punk vibes with Kareem Hunt getting back to the WWE. Does anyone else feel that way? I kind of compared his exit similar to, again, another wrestler, Chris Benoit. Now, the Chris Benoit thing was far more extreme because, unfortunately, that was a murder, homicide, suicide situation, which obviously Kareem Hunt did not do, nothing close to that. But WWE, they took all of the pictures, everything off their website regarding Chris Benoit. And that's what the Chiefs did with Kareem Hunt, where they removed every picture of him on their website and on their social media to the point where they did not want any connection whatsoever with Kareem Hunt. Listen, and I think everyone knows the phrase, time heals all wounds. I suppose, look, Saran Petro was saying this on his show today. There are a lot of horrible things that are done. And did Kareem Hunt do something really bad? Yeah, of course he did. But look at people like Greg Hardy and Deshaun Watson. I mean, they're in the NFL right now. They're standing behind Rashee Rice right now. And what he did was fairly bad. Listen, Willie Gay was involved in some sort of domestic violence incident involving a vacuum. Who really knows what happened? They stood behind Justin Ross, who actually went to prison regarding some sort of domestic violence incident there. Again, we don't know all the details as to what really happened, no matter what the police have in their reports. We really don't know those details. I'm sure there are a lot of things omitted from those incidents. My point is, the Chiefs stood behind Justin Ross. They stood behind Willie Gay. They're currently standing behind Rashee Rice, and that's with everything on camera. So if the Chiefs can stand behind all of those guys, why could they not give Kareem Hunt a second chance? And listen, I mean, I want to be very clear about this because I know someone's going to clip this and say, oh, you said this. No, I never once sugarcoated or condoned anything Kareem Hunt did. I don't think anyone did. There might be some people who are trying to justify, oh, she did this or said this. And man, there are way better ways to handle that kind of thing. Here's the thing about life today, because that was 2018. We're in 2024 today. Even if you think you have all the privacy in the world, when you're talking to anybody, or even if you're just by yourself walking down the street, wherever you are, you just got to act like there's a hidden camera or a security camera of some sort everywhere out there. I mean, people have these glasses. I don't know what they call them, spy glasses that have cameras on them. And they just might have them running while they're walking down the street, and they might catch someone doing something. Who knows? You just have to be aware that there's a camera everywhere, no matter where you are. I mean, unless it is in your own home and you are by yourself, you just have to assume there's a recording device of some sort everywhere out there. And unfortunately, Kareem Hunt, tried to handle a situation, and when it escalated, he unfortunately was not able to pivot away from it in a mature manner. He's 29 years old now. He's been able to reflect on that for quite some time now. And if you guys remember when he was pulled over in Cleveland for having what was it, weed in the car, he told that police officer, I should be playing in the Super Bowl. It was the week of Super Bowl 54. He told that cop, and the cop was trying to be friendly with him, said, hey, I know who you are. I know what you've been through. You had a good season with Cleveland, all of that stuff. And Kareem was just emotional. He was like, man, I should be in the Super Bowl right now. Well, guess what, Kareem? You can finally get your Super Bowl ring. You have a very good shot at getting a Super Bowl ring this year. This is the story that this is now turned into. Because I think we can all agree that if Kareem Hunt did not do what he did, obviously he's not going to be placed on commissioner's exempt list, and he would not get cut by the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe that Patriots game and the AFC title game goes differently. Maybe you don't have to rely on D Ford being onside. Maybe there are a lot of other moments like the Buccaneers Super Bowl that goes differently, or the AFC Championship game against the Bengals goes differently. There are a lot of different things that could. Listen, you guys know me. I'm not a fan of going through hypotheticals and what ifs in the past. My point when bringing this up is I'm sure Kareem Hunt has run those incidents in his mind, all those sequence of events. He probably thought to himself, man, maybe my team would be in the Super Bowl if I was with them. So he's probably thought about those kinds of things many times. Well, you missed out on 3. Just try to get 1. Because forget about off the field incidents. As I think we've covered the whole off the field thing, because we got to now talk about on the field. Not only is Kareem Hunt on a very, very short leash, but when it comes to his on-the-field production, he has not been the best in Cleveland the past couple of years, and that's not necessarily his fault. I mean, first of all, it's Cleveland. Let's be real. Even when it seems like Cleveland has something going, they always find a way to screw it up. But Kareem Hunt turned 29 years old last month, and he had a sports hernia surgery in mid to late January, and that typically takes about 6 to 12 weeks to recover from. So he should be in a place where he is better health-wise. I'm sure that'll be asked tomorrow by someone in the media. But let me just say this. Again, we talked about the off-the-field stuff, but as far as on the field, Kareem Hunt is 29 years old. There are not a lot of teams out there that are willing to give a 29-year-old a chance. Once you hit 30 at the running back position, oh boy, that is like major red flags surrounding the entire player. The Chiefs were willing to give Jerick McKinnon an opportunity because, he had some tread left in the tires. It's not like he was used as a workhorse often early in his career. So the Chiefs were able to give Jerick McKinnon opportunities, bringing him back on 1-year contracts 2 years in a row. I'm sure Jerick McKinnon was a consideration and was an option, but they chose to go with Kareem Hunt probably because Kareem Hunt is much younger. So he's here now. And I'll tell you right now, 29 years old, this is your last chance. So again, I think, he's definitely grown and matured and has learned a lot over the years and has definitely learned the do's and don'ts. You missed out on 3 Super Bowls, possibly more if you were still with the team and then get in trouble. You have an opportunity to just get 1. You have an opportunity to call yourself a Super Bowl champion, whether it's 1 or 4 or 5, however many this dynasty will win. So this might be the biggest second chance that's been given in the NFL. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, and I'm keeping an eye on the chat. So you guys let me know here. What's the biggest second chance we've seen in the NFL? I thought Priest Holmes had a really cool second chance story, but unfortunately, injuries just caught up to him. Now, the situation is a little different because, as bad as the injury was for Priest Holmes, he was out for more than a year. It's not like Priest Holmes got in trouble and the franchise was pissed at him and they cut him and then brought him back years later. No. This is a situation where a guy got in serious trouble and the organization was livid to the point where they were betrayed and pissed and they were embarrassed because they stood behind him. Raymond says Michael Vick. That's a good one right there. Yeah. And by the way, who gave Michael Vick that chance? Y'all know the answer. Andy Reid. Andy Reid was the guy to give that second chance to Michael Vick. And listen, not that it led to a Super Bowl or anything, but my God, man, Michael Vick under Andy Reid, when they moved on from Donovan McNabb, that was a completely different Michael Vick in Philadelphia. I wish we had that Michael Vick much sooner. I think the biggest crime of Michael Vick's playing career is that he did not have a guy like Andy Reid much sooner. If he did, I think Michael Vick would have had a very good career, maybe an opportunity, a legitimate opportunity at a championship, but that's a topic for another time. Billy says the punter, but keep in mind, I mean, not to dismiss what he was accused of doing. I mean, it's a very serious thing to accuse someone of doing, especially if it was false. That absolutely is messed up. And again, that's a whole new deal there. Teresa says Josh Gordon. Yeah. It's again, we're talking about Andy Reid here. I mean, a lot of people felt like Tyreek Hill got a second chance. Again, we don't know what happened in the college incident. We've learned different details over the years, but Boy, Andy Reid's a guy that gives opportunities here. I think the reason that this is a little different is Andy Reid's giving a second chance to someone that, he got his big first strike under his own watch, meaning that he was on the team when this happened. Now, I think we made it very clear that this was a Clark Hunt decision to let Kareem Hunt go. How did the Chiefs come to this decision? I'm sure that'll get asked tomorrow. I mean, there are going to be a lot of questions tomorrow for Andy Reid in his press conference regarding the decision to reach out to and sign Kareem Hunt back to the team. Here's my guess. Again, I'm speculating here, but, even though players have to go through evaluation and all of these other things, you generally have a pretty good idea that a player is going to be out for a significant amount of time. So with Hollywood Brown possibly not playing this year, with Isaiah Pacheco out for 2 months, give or take, I think Andy Reid, whose word, by the way, holds a lot of weight in the NFL. I think Andy Reid spoke to Clark Hunt, who comes in for the games, lives in Dallas full-time, I believe, also may have some property in Colorado, judging by his family social media. I don't know. Or maybe that's just a place they visit frequently. But I think Andy Reid asked Clark Hunt and Brett Veach to meet with them and said, guys, I'm asking you guys to have an open mind here and maybe consider it's time to bring back Kareem Hunt. And look, I'm sure when Kareem Hunt met with the Chiefs today, I'm sure there were some very serious conversations and warnings made. Like, dude, you do one dumb thing, you're done. We're giving you a chance that we never thought we'd ever give you. Somebody joked yesterday that they thought Colin Kaepernick would return in the NFL before Kareem Hunt came back to Kansas City. I agree. If you told me Kareem Hunt would be back in Kansas City, I would say no. Colin Kaepernick will sign with a team before Kareem Hunt comes back to Kansas City. This is how big of a surprise this is. And again, I know I was kind of out there pushing for this yesterday morning, but I still did not expect it to happen. I mean, the wheels on this turned pretty quickly, which is understandable because you got to practice on Wednesday, install the offense, and prepare for the Falcons Sunday night. And by the way, a reminder, we'll be doing another Chiefs Zone podcast. That'll be tomorrow evening. That'll be on a normal time, 7 o'clock Central Time. So join me for that. We will break down the game between the Chiefs and the Falcons, and I'll give you guys my prediction on that. But man, I think a lot of people are still in shock. I'm still in shock. That's why I'm bringing up the Kaepernick thing, because I'm like, he would have signed before with any team before Kareem Hunt back in KC. That's how big of a second chance Kareem Hunt is getting here. You don't see these kinds of second chances often. And I know a lot of people are bringing up the punt god Ariza, a few other guys, Josh Gordon, but this was someone that, like again, not to dismiss all the people talking about Josh Gordon in the chat here, but Josh Gordon, what did he do? I mean, it was weed. It's not the worst thing in the world, okay? It's not like he killed anybody. This is someone who, got physical with a woman when he shouldn't have and paid a big price for it. He to the point where he missed out on a dynasty run. Look, you missed out. The past is in the past, and you can't change that. There is a reason why the rearview mirror is smaller than the front window. Right now, all you can do is look ahead and do something so you can call yourself a Super Bowl champion. You can at least get that. He has a chance to do that. If you guys want to call in with your thoughts on this, I'd love to hear from you guys. I am commenting with the link right here. I'd love to hear from you guys on this. So if you guys want to call in, I just posted the link in the chat there. So feel free to call in and let me know your thoughts on all of this. As far as football goes with Kareem Hunt, is he going to play this Sunday? I don't know. I've kind of gone back and forth on this. Someone was asking me, and I responded probably not. But the more I just think about it, who is your running back right now? Samaje Perine, and your fullback is Carson Steele. And Carson Steele, I think, is, a Kimball Andrews type of guy where he's going to contribute more when it comes to having the football in his hands more often than traditional fullbacks. But I just feel like, right now your roster has a couple open spots, does it not? How many guys are on the 53-man roster for the Chiefs? Probably should have counted that before this. But I think there are some open spots. Now, Pacheco is still on the main roster. I want to be very clear about that. He's not on IR yet. Hollywood Brown is on IR. They released Peyton Hendershot. That was kind of interesting. His highlights with the Chiefs are not really the prettiest. It's a shove that led to a fine. But you have a couple open spots on your team right now. Let me just count real quickly. 2, 4. Bear with me, guys. I apologize. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 19, 21, 24. So you have 24 on offense. Let me just make a note of that right there so I don't forget. Let me count the defense quickly. Got 3, got 6, 8, 10, 12, 11, 13, 15, 17, 18, 20, 22. So there's 22 on defense right now. And then Winchester, Ariza, and Butker. So 3. Okay, you have 49 players on your main roster right now, unless I screwed up somewhere. And again, I'm doing some quick counting here. You have 49 players, and that includes Isaiah Pacheco. So let's just go ahead and say 48, because we know Pacheco's going on IR. You got some open spots. I don't know. Maybe Kareem Hunt does play. Donnie asked a really good question here. Is Kareem Hunt in football shape? This is a really good question here. Is Kareem Hunt in physical shape? I would guarantee. First of all, he passed his physical today and he worked out with the Chiefs, so I'm sure he's in good physical shape. Is he in football shape? He has not gone through OTAs. He has not gone through training camp or the preseason or any kind of practice with any team. So that is a valid question right there. It kind of takes a while to kind of get acclimated. Now, we saw Chris Jones. He did not participate in OTAs, training camp, preseason, or even the first game of last year, but he comes back on 5 days notice for the Jaguars game, and he actually had a pretty good game, got a sack. Now, not to compare a defensive tackle to a running back, because we all know the running back position is a whole different monster here, but as far as his availability goes, considering you have a lot of open spots on the team right now, again, what did we count? We said 49, including Isaiah Pacheco, and we know Isaiah Pacheco is going to go on IR within the next 3, 4, 5 days. Maybe Kareem Hunt's going to be on the active roster. Who do you have at running back right now? Keontae Ingram is one of them. Amani Bailey is also on the roster. Yeah, those are the only running backs you have there. Amani Bailey and Keontae Ingram, excuse me. And Kareem Hunt's your third running back. Hollywood Brown's on IR. Clyde Edwards-Helaire's on IR. Has to miss 2 more games. And I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to be going there within the next couple of days. Lori asked a really good question. I don't have the answer to it, unfortunately. Why does it take so long to put players on IR? I don't know. The Chiefs kind of are a little weird about this thing, timing-wise. But I mean, he'll be on IR. It'll happen. It's obviously, Pacheco is not going to practice this week. He's just not. So he's gonna be sidelined. So he technically is on IR. I guess contractually speaking, he's not on IR. It'll happen. Just usually the Chiefs do these kinds of things on Saturdays, just from my experience seeing how they do things. But you got with Pacheco, you have 4 roster spots. Without Pacheco, which is going to be soon, you're going to have 5. Who are going to be the guys you call up here? I would imagine 2 running backs. I would imagine Keontae Ingram and Kareem Hunt are going to be the 2 guys. You probably need to get Chuck Godric or Lucas Niang, because Lord knows you need some help at left tackle right now. Maybe Justin Ross. You got options. And I'm sure we'll learn in the next 24, 48 hours, maybe even a little longer, as to what's going on with the Chiefs. Corey says, I wonder what Jamal Charles is doing right now. Listen, no one's a bigger Jamal Charles fan than me. If you guys listen to the podcast way back, very few of you guys were. I was calling for the Chiefs to use Jamal Charles, and eventually they started using him. And man, he was doing big things. But unfortunately, his run in Denver was a disaster. He was briefly with the Jaguars. I mean, there's a reason why guys retire. And by the how long he retired pre-pandemic, right? Yeah, it was pre-pandemic, because I remember there was like a weird, like, I don't want, okay, maybe not weird, but there was like a stretch of Chiefs players signing one-day contracts. Who was it? Brandon Flowers, who else? Jamal Charles, Dwayne Bowe, Derek Johnson, like a bunch of guys started signing one-day contracts with the Chiefs. So, yeah, Jamal Charles was awesome, but unfortunately, I think he might be beyond. I mean, he's got to be, what, 35? I mean, for the hell of it, I'm going to look it up. Jamal Charles' age. 37. Yeah. 37 for a guy who hasn't played in a few years. No. Maybe you're being facetious with that question, but I just had to be sure on that. Okay, we're getting to the point where now we're asking if Larry Johnson wants to come back or wanted to come back. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I mean, listen, that was a tough one for me, because I still believe to this day Joe Delaney and Larry Johnson are the two most talented running backs you've ever had on this team. Unfortunately for Larry Johnson, he got very lazy and did a lot of things on and off the field he should have not done. And I know he's opened up about that in a radio interview where he admitted a lot of regret with what he did. In fact, speaking of Larry Johnson was the guy who lashed out at Kareem Hunt. If you guys remember, Larry Johnson went on Twitter and tore Kareem Hunt apart and was like, dude, you should have used me as an example of what not to do. I was like, whoa. I mean, talk about a guy who definitely understood his mistakes. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Larry, Michael says Larry was a monster for his little stretch. I've always said prior to Patrick Mahomes, I think Larry Johnson had the best back-to-back season performances in Chiefs history. Back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons. And by the way, one of those seasons, the second time he did it, he got off to a really, really slow start. And if LaDainian Tomlinson was not in the NFL, he would have led the NFL in rushing that second time, I think. Yeah, it's a lot of people asking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So he's got the PTSD situation, the mental health there. Look, you never want to mess with that. Let him take the time he needs to recover. I'm sure the Chiefs have reached out and have said, "Hey, look, are you okay? Where are you football wise wanting to come back?" So hopefully, because when he did his press conference, I thought he was at a point where he was okay. Especially whenever someone's able to open up and talk about things, you generally get the gist that they're in a good spot. But I guess with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, maybe he's not at that point right now. Let me say this though: Isaiah Pacheco's season is not over yet. At least right now, it's not. There is some optimism that Pacheco will come back. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco together. And again, we don't know what Kareem Hunt's going to look like. And even if he does play this Sunday night, which I'm kind of 50-50 on, I'm not going to judge Kareem Hunt off one game. Even if he looks great in that one game, I'll give him a lot of credit for it. But I'll be here. I'll say, look, we gotta slow down a tiny bit here and make sure that he's going to be the same a week later, because the Chargers are looking really good, especially on the ground. And I'd like to see Kareem Hunt be able to duplicate that success if he does play and look good against the Falcons. But man, if Kareem Hunt can pick up from where he left off in Kansas City and continue to play at that level when Isaiah Pacheco comes back, that is a dangerous 1-2 duo that I would not want to mess with absolutely. I mean, defense. Listen, it's already unfortunate with Hollywood Brown. What happened to him? I know his season is not 100% ruled out, but it's kind of leaning in that direction right now. But with Kareem Hunt, this helps a little bit. This gives you some hope that the offense can do something to try to improve and stay undefeated. I'm not expecting them to go 17-0, but for now, you don't want your first loss to come anytime soon, though. That's the thing. Do you think they will try to make a trade for a back if these guys don't pan out? Corey says, yeah, that's another good question there. I guess one example that comes to mind right away is when the 49ers went and got Christian McCaffrey from the Panthers. So, yeah, you're asking if they would do that kind of a move. Perhaps. Let me just quickly look at the NFL stats, ESPN. Let me just see who are the top rushers right now. I know it's only been 2 weeks. Obviously, the leader, J.K. Dobbins, I just alluded to having a great start to his season. They're not gonna move him. The 49ers are not going to go up Jordan Mason. Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. Well, we'll see what kind of season Green Bay can have without Jordan Love, but Josh Jacobs did say he does not want to come to Kansas City. Ramondre Stevenson's looking good to start the season. I would imagine Ramondre Stevenson is the guy that maybe you could call. Saints are not giving up Alvin Kamara. Texans are not giving up Joe Mixon. Brian Robinson from the Washington Commanders, maybe. James Conner of the Cardinals. Man, James Conner? Wasn't he a Pro Bowler with the Steelers? That same James Conner? How old is he? I feel like he's been around a long time now. He's 29 years old. Same age as Kareem Hunt. There you go. And that's a guy that's, been active in the NFL. So if he can still go at it, sure, why not Kareem Hunt? I suppose. Listen, you got options out there, and obviously it depends on who's going to be buyers and sellers within the next few weeks. But I guess right now that's not necessarily an option to consider at the moment. Panthers running back. Are you referring to Chuba Hubbard? He's got almost 5 yards a carry. Now it's only 16 carries. I don't know how much we can really judge from that. Is it because defenses are playing, soft and prevent defenses in the fourth quarter that are allowing him to get a high yard per carry average? Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully you don't have to go in that direction, though. How do you think our defense holds up with slowing down Bijan Robinson? Yeah, Michael, I appreciate the question. I don't mean to shut this down. We're gonna do Falcons breakdown on tomorrow's podcast. So I appreciate the question. I do. Apologies for having to shut you down like that, but I do want to focus this mainly on Kareem Hunt and the offense here, because our breakdown is always on Wednesdays when there is a Sunday game. So we'll definitely answer that tomorrow. It's a great question, but we'll get into that tomorrow. A couple of you guys are mentioning Hubbard. Again, let's see how he looks down the stretch if the Panthers are involved in a competitive game, because maybe then you would consider that. Hopefully the Chiefs don't have to go there. Hopefully they don't. Man, I'm still kind of shocked. I know I've said this many times today, and I said this yesterday. Yesterday it was the news that the Chiefs are calling Kareem Hunt for a workout. Now they've actually signed him. So we'll have to see. For now, it's going to be Samaje Perine, and I'm sure Kareem Hunt's going to be sprinkled in there. By the way, remember, I remember trying to make this a thing. Ice Kareem Hunt. I was trying to make that a thing when he got drafted by the Chiefs. And then when he started playing well, I'm like, let's go. Let's make this a thing. And I'll never forget, in 2018, he hurdled over a Broncos defender. That was when Air Kareem was invented. So, yeah. Look, you got a second chance here. So hopefully Kareem Hunt can make the most of it. And find a way to win. You just got yourself the biggest second chance that nobody thought you would ever get. And probably a reason to believe you should not have ever gotten the second chance. But things happen for a reason. And the Chiefs are in a very bad state right now. with their running backs. That is why they're reaching out to him. They're not reaching out because of like a moral or ethical reasons. No, they're in trouble right now with the running back position, and they need serious help. That is why they reached out to Kareem Hunt. He is now on the team, on the practice squad specifically. And hopefully he will be on the main roster very, very soon. Okay, we got a lot of things to discuss tomorrow. We will break down the game between the Chiefs and the Falcons. Who will the Chiefs have at running back? Who is the Chiefs left tackle going to be? Because Andy Reid was not willing to commit to an answer as to who he wants his left tackle to be on Monday's press conference. Will we get another answer tomorrow? Maybe. We'll see. But we're definitely going to have more answers about the Kareem Hunt signing in tomorrow's press conference. So I'm sure Andy Reid will have a lot to say on that front. All right, guys. My name is Farzin Vasugian. If you guys haven't done so, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I just commented with the link on Facebook. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The numbers on that continue to go up every time. So I appreciate all of you guys who are subscribing, spreading the word, letting your friends know about the podcast. So thank you guys for joining the YouTube page. Haven't done so, follow me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/FarzanVasugian. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Let your friends know about the Chiefs Zone podcast. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back in a little over 24 hours. We will do the Chiefs Zone podcast on our traditional Wednesday episode. We will break down the game between the Chiefs and the Falcons. That'll be tomorrow evening. All right, I'm out. Enjoy your Tuesday.